Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Yes, this is going to be quite fun, hopefully. The intention behind all of this is to give it more of a live news thing, so to say. We used to do a show back in the day called it was a podcast called Fox and Entertainment where I would sit and I would just discuss random things happening and give you my opinions on them, teach you certain things, and that's kind of what I do still, but it's not as often. It's much more structured now. And previously, one of my favorite things to do during that time was to go ahead and just read blindly what was happening and get just a general sense for things. So I can have reactions with you guys and I can make jokes along the way. It could be a lot more improv-y fun, and that's really where I went with it. And when I started going into video, there was sort of the desire for me to have something more structured. Something, because at the end of the time, Critic Alley was actually a show that was on Fox 10 Entertainment once upon a time, and it was a movie review thing, but I had so much more writing because since you weren't watching me, I had to explain to you what I was making fun of, and it was a little more nuanced and long form. So when I went to video, I was able to capture that essence and do more with it. I was able to show you what I was talking about, which added a whole new layer and took away from some of what I was doing as well. Because with that, I was able to kind of desire that to be how everything went. All my episodes would be structured that way from there on out. Uh, it's great. I really do enjoy the working that way, but I do miss this format. So hopefully this will give me a chance to do that. I'm going to, of course, do this live as we are on Twitch, and then I'm going to be posting it onto YouTube over at Trial by Comedy, and you can check up there. This is going to be very raw for the first few episodes. I mean, we don't even really have a title. I'm still located where I do my gaming stuff. You might recognize that if you see me on Critic Alley. If not, go over there, like that Twitch channel too. With and the YouTube channel for Critic Alley. Yes, let's get all the needless pandering out of the way in our initial intro. I'm Fox. If you don't know, I guess 2 minutes in I could tell you who I am, right? So it's been fun getting this all set up, and let's just get going. I hope you are all well. I want this to be, I will repeat it several times throughout the whole thing, but I would like people to be able to come here and get involved as well. I will eventually have some Discord channel that you can communicate with me on. We'll figure out a way for you to be involved if you want to be a guest star or something, as long as you don't misbehave, because I have moderate standards of behavior. You can't do certain things on my show. So, without further ado, actually, we're going so off wire that all my news stories I found, I went and looked at on my phone. So I'm going to be reading them off of it right now. Let me hop around in between a couple different blip, 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 blip. And so first time I want to talk about what we're going to do with Rat Island. And just the idea of Rat Island alone was amazing to me, because have you guys ever read Secrets of NIMH? A lot of rat politics going on with the mice and stuff. It's pretty intense. And down in San Francisco, they are pondering whether whether or not poison should be dropped on a mouse-infested island, because they're having problems with mice and stuff. You'll see. California's weighing the plan. My personal answer is you probably shouldn't drop a kill-all poison in any chunk of land because it's going to get around, but who am I? The Farallon Islands are home to squawking seabirds, floppy harbor seals, brightly freckled arboreal salamanders, and rare, delicate camel crickets. They're also home to what ecologists have called a plague-level infestation of European house mice. That's an interesting thing, too. To me, they're European house mice. And that's something I don't think a lot of people even really consider when you think about what invasive species are, or if you even think about invasive species that are. Do you go outside and you think, oh, geez, that mouse is from Europe. He's here and he's going to fight with the American mice. No, you don't really think about that. There's a lot of culture wars between the mice, secrets of Nim, yet again. But the invasive species from other cultures and stuff have not only the different diseases and stuff that they carry, but they can just have different habitats and the predators get changed. And you mess up the whole ecology when you introduce different invasive animals to different environments. So just right off the bat, you're kind of concerned. There was that story where they had too many mice, right? So they brought the snakes. And they had too many snakes, so they brought the mongooses, and they had to keep bringing in new predators to keep up. That's we got to watch what we're doing, guys. On Thursday, the California Coastal Commission, not the CCC you're thinking of, but they will vote on a proposal to eradicate the invasive rodents from the islands located just off the San Francisco coast by dropping 3,000 pounds of poison bait from helicopters. So they're not even going to need to get close. This is a blanket dropping. If the contentious plan moves forward and earns approval from the regional director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, it could be implemented starting the autumn of 2023. So as soon as a couple years away, they will be bombing mice in all their homes. Squeak. The vote marks the culmination of years-long debate over how to address the Farallone's mouse infestations. Officials from the FWS have been developing a plan to use rodenticide since the early 2000s, saying the mice, whose population could reach up to 60,000 in the fall, are a threat to endemic species of birds, insects, and reptiles. See, that's what I was saying, is when you introduce new animals, you kind of set it up for this hazardous environment, and something should be done. I want to say that we should just introduce a predator to it that is from the area or something to that degree. But that's even difficult too, because if you increase the amount of a predator in an area, then you will also risk the chance of damaging other animals that there's only so many of. So rat problems are real. What do you guys think we should do about that? Tell your Congress people, because I think we could be involved in things like this. That's another fun thing we can bring to the table too. If anybody ever begins to pay attention to this, maybe we'll raise more awareness for the weird stuff going on that we're not aware of. Critics say that sprinkling rodenticide, which is also toxic to birds and other animals, is too risky. They're skeptical that nuking the island with a poison that kills everything could end well. So yeah, what happened when they dealt with Godzilla? They were just shooting bombs off in the middle of nowhere, and now we get nuclear lizard. Hell-bent on revenge. Probably because we ruined his favorite sunbathing zone. Have you seen lizards? What they do in the sun? Get the push-ups going. I like it. That's fun to do. Fun to go out and find lizards that way. But we have this problem, and a lot of people seem to be on the fence about whether or not we're going to be going forward with dropping poison all over the island. I don't think we should. The plan might seem drastic, but who doesn't want a couple hundred dead mice? So, another story that I found that is more interesting to me than anything is that in Northern Ireland, a Northern Ireland man's message in a bottle turns up 23 years later. That's fun, right? How many times do you really think that would actually come to something? And when in fact, that's something that happens more often than you think. There's a lot of situations where people will find letters in bottles or, the usual SOS. The police would be proud. Sending out an SOS. In December 21st, a Northern Ireland man's message in a bottle was found nearly 23 years later after traveling only about 18 miles. Man, can you imagine? That's the gas mileage of a lot of new trucks. In 23 years, it went about 18 miles. Stephen Caulfield, 44, said he was single and living in Rochetrevor when he wrote the message reading, "I am 22 years old. Please write me if you are a girl. Thanks." Thanks. He had high hopes, didn't he? Caulfield said he put the message in a bottle and launched it into the Carlingford Low on January 5th, 1999. It's interesting like that because it's like a time capsule. Maybe we should have set more floating time capsules out, and at least we'd find interesting things on Trash Island. You remember Trash Island? That huge complex of plastic out in the middle of the ocean that we don't know what to do with, so we're basically just allowing it to be its own nation? Yeah, that's a thing. Caulfield said he had forgotten about the message by the time photos of his letter started circulating on social media. He was hoping for the ball to reach a bit further. Because that's the thing, too. Like, whenever you think about it and you're like trapped on a deserted island, you're like, I'm going to write a help message. I'm going to send it out in a bottle. You realize that there's things called currents that generally drag a lot of things to islands, and that's kind of how you got there to the first place. And odds are you're going to throw it out and you're going to find it floating back in the next morning. Won't be that great. And as another fun aside, we're going to move on to a weird law I saw. Did you know that where is this? It's down in LA. I think this is in LA County. It's in California. I'm fairly certain. I want to start off with the California law. It's illegal to wash a neighbor's car without permission. So, if you want to go out there and strike fear into the hearts of dirty windows everywhere, you'll have to go downtown for your serial public services. For real. For real. I think it's interesting because there's a lot of laws, and this is probably going to be a reoccurring segment that we do, that come out and they happen because of ignorance or just abuse of power, and then they kind of exist for way longer than they should. And there's a lot of those, and we're going to be discussing them together throughout the future. I have only this to leave you with now. This has been a kind of a fun little intro romp again. This will probably be anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes a day, depending on how we feel and how it goes and how many people show up and want more news. And we'll figure out exactly what kind of stuff is happening every day together. Maybe not every day. That's a bit much. Well, every other day at least. We'll get together pretty often and we'll talk about news. And it'll be fun. So while you're out there, bear some thoughts to the mice. Let's try to figure out ways of solving our problems without dropping nuclear bombs on everything. I know we're America, and it's our go-to to be like, America, and then drop bombs. But we don't need to do that. We really don't. It solves a lot less than we think it will. And I have a really fun chair. So, I'll see you all next time when I do this. It'll probably be soon. Like I said, I'm feeling pretty neat about it. It'll probably be a morning thing, too. So you'll wake up, you'll have some coffee, you'll listen to me say some nonsense, you go on with your day with stuff to think about, like how useless it is to write letters on small islands and send them out there. Maybe you should be looking for love in your local library or somewhere close to home. I wonder if he put like his phone number or his address, or how do you like get back to somebody like that? Just, what do you move? He probably didn't live there anymore. Just the ridiculousness of it all. And that's what I want to leave you with. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.